Hello students, a very good evening to all of you. Welcome to my channel. Today we will talk about two major writers. One is Jayanta Mahapatra and another is Nayantara Sahgal. But before starting, I want to give you a brief introduction about myself. Good evening, Papri. Good evening, Mayank. Good evening, Mimangsha. Welcome. There are some technical glitches in live streaming. That is why the class has started a bit late. Um, Good evening, Jyoti. Welcome. Yes, I am fine. How are you? Okay. So before starting, I want to give you a brief introduction about myself. My name is Brishti Mukherjee. I have qualified NTA UGC NET exam in English literature 4 times and have also qualified West Bengal state examination. I have I have 2 years of teaching experience. Moreover, I have also taught in NPTEL online course from IIT Madras 3 times. So that is all about myself. Next second. This is the link of my Telegram channel. So those of you who have not joined yet, please join to get notification of all important classes. And also please don't forget to like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel so that many more new learners can join. And these are the timings of your classes: Monday to Friday at 8:30 p.m., Saturday, Sunday off. So don't forget to join me live. Please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon to get notification. Okay. Good evening, Shushmita. Welcome. Okay, so let's start. Today our topic is two major writers. One is Jayanta Mahapatra and another is Nayantara Sahgal. So we will start with Jayanta Mahapatra first. This is the image of Jayanta Mahapatra 1928 to present is his timeline. He is a very major Indian poet. I hope you have read some of the important poems of Jayanta Mahapatra. नो नजरीन क्लास का टाइम चेंज नहीं हुआ है 8:30 पीएम ही है एक्चुअली आज कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो रहा था टेक्निकली दैट इज व्हाई आई हैव स्टार्टेड द क्लास अ बिट लेट अच्छा ठीक है मयांक आई विल ट्राई टू डू दैट okay so let's start with Jayanta Mahapatra. Jayanta Mahapatra was born on 22nd October 1938 in Kotok, and very importantly he was the first Indian English poet to win Sahitya Akademi Award. The first Indian English novelist to win that award was R.K. Narayan. And in the field of poetry, Jayanta Mahapatra was the first Indian poet to win Sahitya Akademi Award. He completed MSc in physics from Patna University. He also became a lecturer in physics in Gangadhar Meher College and Ravenshaw College in Odisha. So his subject was science, but he became a poet. Good evening, Muzid. Welcome. So basically, this is important. The main setting of his poetry is Odisha, and important cultural artifacts of Odisha as well as the natural surrounding of Odisha is a recurring theme of his poetry. That is why it is important. तो इस टाइप का क्वेश्चन आ सकता है कि which Indian English poet wrote extensively about Odisha and its culture? Then the answer will be Jayanta Mahapatra. And another important thing is that symbol of rain is very frequent in his poems. Symbol of rain. Okay. Basically, in his poetry, we find some ironical reflection of love, sensuality, social, political scene in his later poems. So, सारे के सारे themes है love, sensuality, social and political scenes. Okay, so that is about his biographical details. These are the most important poetry collections of Jayanta Mahapatra. Poetry collections. Okay, तो poetry collections में आते हैं Close the Sky 10 by 10 published in 1971. Swayamvar and other poems 1971, A Reign of Rights, this is important. Father's Houses 1976, Waiting 1979, this is important. Relationship जिसके लिए उनको award मिला था साहित्य अकादमी award. The False Start 1980, these are the major collections written by Jayanta Mahapatra. Okay, now we will talk about some individual poems of Jayanta Mahapatra. For the first poem is Relationship. For this poem, Jayanta Mahapatra won the Sahitya Academy Award. तो रिलेशनशिप टाइटल से ही आपको पता चलता है इट इज टॉकिंग अबाउट सम काइंड ऑफ कनेक्शंस, राइट. तो उन्होंने ये अवार्ड जीता था 1981 में फॉर राइटिंग दिस पोएम, and he talks about his mute inglorious sufferings which he connects with that of some anonymous ancestors. So it has some autobiographical touch where Mahapatra himself describes his own experience, his own suffering, जिसको उन्होंने कहा है mute inglorious suffering. Okay, yes, mute inglorious suffering, right. So and he connects it with his anonymous ancestors. तो ancestral experience के साथ वो अपने present experience को connect कर रहा है, that is why relationship. So here the relationship is between ancestors and predecessors, right? Ancestors and predecessors, that is the relationship. Okay, yes, relations by A.K. Ramanujan, right? So okay, so that is about the relationship between ancestors and the predecessors. Okay, so that is why it is important. Now next poem had Dawn at Puri. As I have already told you, ki Odisha was a very important theme in his poem. That is why Dawn at Puri. It is a very beautiful poem and it talks about the beauty of Puri's sea beach. Okay, पूरी सी बीच के बारे में डिस्कस हो रहा है. तो एंड इट ऑल्सो टॉक्स अबाउट द हॉलोनेस ऑफ रिलीजियस रिचुअल्स. यू ऑल नो दैट पुरी इज फेमस फॉर द जगन्नाथ टेम्पल, right, for the Jagannath temple, and beside the sea beach there is the there is the Jagannath temple. So this poem talks about that hollowness of religious rituals, and the poet is exactly standing before a famous Hindu temple, the famous Jagannath temple, and he realizes the excessive showing of religious rituals, but all these things are very hollow. There is no specific purpose. Mahapatra realizes that hollowness inside the religious rituals, and he is listening the cries of crows, which appears to be ominous. Okay, yes, appears to be ominous. There is a dead body, a skull which they want to eat. So beside the Hindu temple, Mahapatra sees a dead body, a skull, and this is very ominous. This is very gruesome image, and we cannot expect that beside a temple, right? So it talks about that hollowness of religious rituals, where it just becomes a ritual, but there is no specific religious significance attached to it, or maybe there is no clear cut connection established between God and human beings through that ritual. जो बताए जाते हैं rituals के बारे में वो actually में नहीं. So it is a clear satire on religious rituals and all those religious people, religious priests who provoke people, who provoke common people to follow those rituals. ठीक है, तो ये सबके ऊपर एक सटायर है, बट द सेटिंग इज अ नेचुरल सेटिंग विच इज द सी बीच ऑफ पुरी. यस, द स्कल ऑफ ह्यूमन बींग्स रिप्रेजेंट्स दैट हॉलोनेस. तो जो हम कहते हैं कि डेथ एंड आफ्टर लाइफ, द थॉट ऑफ आफ्टर लाइफ, दैट इज ऑल्सो the thought of afterlife, that is also at the same time criticized by Mahapatra, because that dead body, that skull, which indicates that there is no afterlife, everything is shattered, everything is destroyed, and when where the crows are flying, this is very ominous. You all know that crow is a symbol of ominousness in different fields of literature, right? Mahapatra is also trying to show that. The poet observes some women who are wearing white clothes and entering into the temple. It is also a part of religious ritual. Some leprous beggars are begging outside. They are not allowed to enter into the temple. That indicates the hollowness of religious thoughts. Okay, and also the conservative religion, the institutionalized religion, which Mahapatra satirized here. Institutionalized religion. And Mahapatra also watches a dead body which is cremated, and this reminds him of his own mother. Okay, so that is about this particular poem, Dawn at Puri. Now, this is a very famous poem. I hope you have read that poem also. That is Hunger. It is beautifully written, and it is talking about a burning social problem, the problem of the profession of prostitution, and how poverty compels people to adopt a very mean way for survival. That is the main theme of Hunger. Okay, and it talks about the poverty of a fisherman family. The speaker is suffering from great sexual hunger, and he meets a fisherman who willingly offering his daughter's body to him for his enjoyment. So it is a very acute stage of poverty where a father is willingly offering his daughter's body to be enjoyed by a group of strangers in the profession of prostitution. And the image of the daughter is also very much horrifying, because she is suffering from malnutrition. She is very lean and thin and not beautiful. Okay, yes, they are widow women, right? The poet is surprised to see the appearance of the fisherman, which clearly shows his starvation. The fisherman is also starving, his daughter is also starving, and the fisherman takes him inside the house. Inside the house, a dim oil lamp is burning, and Mahapatra beautifully reflects the presence of soot inside the wall. That soot indicates the guilt feeling inside the father's mind. At the same time, the soot indicates the darkness, sorry, the darkness of poverty, or the darkness of ignorance, which cannot be wiped out, which is actually a stamp in their life, and they cannot come out of that soot. The soot is not on the wall, but also in the minds of the fisherman and also the daughter. Okay, the fisherman asks the narrator to enjoy his daughter who has just turned 15. Very carefully, he mentions the age, and there is a line, "My daughter, she has just turned 15, feel her." And the father is saying very painfully, at the same time, tactfully, with a business mind. And the girl opens her legs, inviting the poet to be intimate with her, but the poet can't do that. The poet feels horrified seeing her body, and he can realizes that there are both hungers. One is the bodily hunger for the poet, for the speaker, and another is the hunger of the fisherman, which is actually the hunger for food. And that is very much unbearable to them, and that is why they are taking up that kind of a profession. Okay, so very beautiful poem, small poem, but it is talking about a burning social issue. Yes, the hunger stands for both hunger of poor people for food and hunger of patriarchal society for women body. Absolutely. Now there are some other poems that one is the exile, where the protagonist feels exiled. जो title है वही theme है. Then total solar eclipse. It's a very interesting poem. Talks about the day, particular day, 16th February 1980. जिस दिन solar eclipse हुआ था. Total solar eclipse, which means Purnogrash Surya Graham. The total eclipse when the sun is totally vanished from the sky. Okay. Now next is abundant British cemetery. It talks about the British soldiers who died in India. Mahapatra pays a great tribute to them. Then evening landscape by the river. It talks about the overpowering sadness. Then Bhopal Dawn again talks about the Bhopal gas tragedy. Very importantly, भोपाल गैस ट्रेजेडी के बारे में ये पोएम है. The lost children of America, the young children who are trying to find peace. Okay, afternoon, which is talking about the rape of women. Very interesting. These are some of the poems, and a collection of short story, anthology of short story, that is Green Gardener. Okay, that is Green Garden. So that is about Jayanta Mahapatra. सबसे important जो poem है वो है Hunger and Relationships, जिससे आपके ज्यादा question बनता है. And remember the major themes of his poems. Yes, uh, major themes of his poems, that is uh, the social problem or the cultural problem, the satirizing of religious rituals, or also talking about ironical reflection of love and relationship. Okay, so that is about Jayanta Mahapatra. Now we move on to the next writer and the last writer of today's class, that is Nayantara Sahgal. 1927 to present is her timeline. Nayantara Sahgal is among the early Indian novelists, early Indian female novelists, and she is a very important figure. She is a member of Nehru family. Actually, she is the daughter of Jawaharlal Nehru's sister, Vijay Lakshmi Pandit. Vijay Lakshmi Pandit's daughter is Nayantara Sahgal, and she is very important as a writer. उनके एक दो बहुत ही important novels हैं. ठीक है. She was born on 10th May 1927 in Allahabad. Okay, her father was a brilliant scholar and he was arrested for his support of Indian independence. So like Jawaharlal Nehru, they are also associated with Indian independence movement, and Nayantara Sahgal's father was also a member of that. She studied in Woodstock School and Wellesley College. That was about her educational background. Now biographical details ज़्यादा important नहीं है, उनके novels important है. ये novel आप सबने सुना होगा, इसका नाम Prison and Chocolate Cake, published in 1954. Prison and Chocolate Cake, very interesting title, and that is her most important novel. So basically it is an autobiography, Prison and Chocolate Cake, and it pays tribute to three persons. Her parents, Nehru. Her parents are Nehru. Parents means both father and mother, and Nehru. इन तीनों person को वो tribute दे रहा है in this particular text, in this particular novel. And she also talks about her meeting with Gandhiji, that is why very important. She also talks about her relationship with her sisters, and she feels a kind of existential anxiety in the sense that uh, kind of diaspora lineage है, but directly ये diasporic text नहीं है. Because she feels anxious that people living in abroad cannot find out India in map. That is a very anxious and very very shameful thing, that people who are living in abroad, and basically the Indian people who are living in abroad, they cannot find out India in map. That is very shocking, and that is very problematic for Nayantara Sahgal, and she also feels anxious about that. Now the novel ends with Gandhiji's death. वो गांधी जी के साथ अपने मीटिंग के बारे में कह रहा है, and also she talks about Gandhiji's death and how that death brings a tragedy in the whole family of Nayantara Sahgal, or the whole family of Nehru. Okay, and how it impacted the Indian freedom struggle at that time, the death of Gandhi or the murder of Gandhi. Okay, so that is about Prison and Chocolate Cake. Okay, ये एक autobiographical novel है. Now we will move on to the next novel, Storm in Chandigarh, published in 1959. Storm in Chandigarh, this is very important. इसका जो subtitle है वो है A Tale of Interpersonal Incompatibility. तो subtitles are always important, जरूर याद रखना. ठीक है. And यहाँ पर तीन couples की बात हो रहा है. Deals with the lives of three married couples. Uh, Indari, Saroj, Jeet and Mara, Vishal and Leela. Indar and Saroj, Jeet and Mara, Vishal and Leela. They are the three major couples जिसके बारे में ये story है. And Storm in Chandigarh title क्यों है? Here the storm doesn't literally refer to any storm, but here the storm means some kind of confusion or confrontation between the newly divided states of Punjab and Haryana over the issue of Chandigarh. तो चंडीगढ़ को लेकर जो डिबेट चल रहा था रिगार्डिंग द कैपिटल ऑफ पंजाब एंड हरियाणा, तो ये वो पॉलिटिकल बैकड्रॉप में इसका सेटिंग है, दैट इज व्हाई इट रेफर्स टू स्टॉर्म. इट इज अ काइंड ऑफ कन्फ्रंटेशन, इट्स अ काइंड ऑफ कंफ्यूजन, अ काइंड ऑफ upheaval. That is why storm. Okay. Now her most famous novel, which is oft discussed, that is Rich Like Us, published in 1985. ये बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट नॉवेल है, रिच लाइक अस. ओके, ठीक है. तो क्यों इंपॉर्टेंट है? बेसिकली इट ओन साहित्य अकादमी अवार्ड फॉर फिक्शन एंड ऑल्सो सिंक्लियर प्राइज फॉर फिक्शन. दोनों प्राइज मिला था, दैट इज वाई वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. इट टॉक्स अबाउट द टाइम ऑफ इमरजेंसी. तो इमरजेंसी पीरियड में कई सारे नॉवेल सेटिंग है, राइट. तो जिसमें ये भी एक नॉवेल है. इस टाइप का क्वेश्चन आते हैं कि विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग नॉवेल्स आर सेट ड्यूरिंग इमरजेंसी पीरियड. तो याद रखना, नयनतारा सहगल का ये जो वर्क है रिच लाइक अस, दैट इज ऑल्सो सेट एट द टाइम ऑफ इमरजेंसी. अब इमरजेंसी क्या है? यू ऑल नो, इमरजेंसी रेफर्स टू अ 21 months period from 1975 to 77 when Prime Minister Indira Gandhi has announced a state of emergency across the country. तो उसी टाइम को कहा जाता है इमरजेंसी पीरियड, राइट. वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉलिटिकल फेनोमेना. तो इसका प्लॉट क्या है? रोज इज द मेन कैरेक्टर हु इज अ ब्रिटिश इमिग्रेंट and the second wife of a businessman whose name is Ram. Okay, they are the major characters. Another character is Sonali, who is a civil service employee. Now Rose finds it difficult to understand Indian culture because she is a British immigrant, right, and she cannot adjust herself with the Indian culture. Dev is a son of Ram's other wife who plans to take all the properties of Ram after his death, depriving Rose. So Ram के दो wife है, Rose is the second wife. Now the son of the first wife, Dev, and his mother, they both have plans to take every property of Ram and depriving Rosie. Okay. Now gradually Rosie realizes that and Rosie turns to Sonali for help, a civil service employee. तो हाउ सोनाली रोज को कैसे हेल्प करता है एंड अल्टीमेटली कैसे टोटल मैटर निगोशिएट होता है, दैट इज एक्चुअली द प्लॉट ऑफ रिच लाइक अस. ओके. नाउ अदर वर्क्स के लिस्ट में क्या है? अदर वर्क्स के लिस्ट में दीज आर द मेजर नॉवेल्स. तो कभी कभी मैचिंग में ये आते हैं कि ऑथर के साथ नॉवेल्स को मैच करने में. तो टाइटल्स बस याद रखना. अ टाइम टू बी हैप्पी, published in 1963. From Fear Set Free, again published in 1963. The Day in Shadow, 1971. A Voice for Freedom, 1977. Mistaken Identities, ये शायद एक बार आया था मैचिंग में, 1988. And very recent novel जो है published in 2019, that is The Fate of Butterflies. Okay. So these are the major, these are the other important novels of Nayantara Sahgal. But सबसे ज़्यादा important है Rich Like Us, Storm in Chandigarh, and Prison and Chocolate Cake. Okay. So that is about Nayantara Sahgal and Jayanta Mahapatra. I have summarized the major points, but please read something more about all these writers because they are the very major Indian novelists and poets who often come in your exam. Okay, so that is the end of today's class. Thank you all for joining. This is the link of my Telegram channel. Those of you who have not joined yet, please join to get notification of all important classes. Tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. we will solve some MCQs from research aptitude. Okay, हमने कई सारे टॉपिक्स को पढ़ लिया है. Tomorrow we will practice some MCQs from research aptitude. Okay, so don't forget to join me live. Please like and share this video and help the new learners to join this channel. Okay, and also don't forget to comment. Don't forget to share your opinion in the comment section. Okay, thank you all. Bye bye everyone. Good night. See you all tomorrow at 8:30 p.m.